Death Machine is the 1994 low-budget sci-fi film. It is directed by Stephen Norrington and it is distributed by Trimark Pictures. It is somewhat of a horror or sci-fi genre type film. It does star Ellie Pouget, who was a former model turned actress. She does play the lead role in the film as Kale. She's basically a CEO who discovers that her company has creating some sort of a death device. Pouget has also been on an episode of Friday the 13th, the series. She did guest star in an episode from the second season, 5th episode. The episode was called Symphony in B Sharp. It was actually a really good episode. She also did have the lead role on The Dark Shadows revival, in which she played Maggie Evans. We also have Brad Dourif, who is playing Jack Dante, who is somewhat of a basement rat, just a very subterranean dweller, which is developing this secret device. He also does have somewhat of an infatuation with the lead character, who is Kale. We also have a very brief cameo by Rachel Weisz. She plays a junior executive in the film. I would say, other than having Brad Dourif and Rachel Weisz in the film, that is pretty much the only highlight. The film itself is fairly decently executed. We do have a lot of darkness and shadow that does hide the poor effects. Lack of lighting really does help the film, but it is obviously a very extreme device to refer to as the War Beast. We hear constant reference of this machine throughout the film. We really don't actually get to see it until about the last 30 minutes of the film. It's obviously very mechanical, two-legged, very jagged teeth. It looks somewhat of a RoboCop ripoff. It's just very poorly made, not as threatening as it's made to seem. We do have these eco-warriors who aid Kale as she is trying to shut down the machine and basically just bring the company down. Oddly enough, this film has been censored in several countries, including Iraq, China, and Australia, supposedly due to the excessive blood and violence. In all honesty, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. The majority of the time, you have very strategic cutaways, or the violence happens off screen, so it's more implied than actually seen. So I wouldn't say it's really controversial. I would say that they're just more conservative than anything else as far as what they would consider inappropriate for their culture or for their countries to be able to view. What does add somewhat of a bit of controversy to the film is that director Stephen Norrington did release 4 different cuts of this film, including a director's cut. Obviously, he was not very satisfied with the film, and I do not blame him. It's really not that good at all. And in all honesty, who the hell does he think he is? Ridley Scott or George Lucas? You do not need 4 cuts of a low-budget film. I'm sorry. Some countries also did censor scene involving dead babies. In all honesty, regardless of the grotesque nature, this film was so boring, so dull, it probably actually would have helped to leave that scene in. In all honesty, I was very bored with the film. I was looking forward to it being over very quickly, and I spent the majority of the movie actually just ignoring it and doing other things online when I should have actually been paying attention, which is very sad because I had seen this movie when I was younger. I do not remember it being as bad, but when you're a kid, you obviously don't have very good taste in film. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to seeing the movie. Obviously, I was let down, and it serves me right. I should have paid more attention. I should have known, or at least I should have paid attention to the 2-star rating when obviously previous ratings said the movie was not very good, and they were obviously right. So aside from the fact that Rachel Weisz was briefly in the film and the fact that Brad Dourif stars, those are pretty much the only highlights. Otherwise, don't waste your time with the movie.